Students, welcome to Shourabh's classes. So in today's video we'll go to UGC NET 2016 July paper. So we were solving paper number 3. So in today's video we'll start with question number 40. So in question number 40 we have to match the economist with the theme. So it is given Adam Smith is equals to, give out of this for which one? Balancing supply demand, extent of market, state of overproduction and modernization of agriculture. So we know for question number 40 Adam Smith did what? Modernization. So is not correctly matched. So it is Adam Smith did extent of market. We know this is right. So Adam Smith actually did extent of market. He explained extent of market. cbse did balancing demand and supply, and T.R. Malthus gave state of overproduction, and Ricardo gave modernization of agriculture. No, this is not right. So for this we know for question number 40 the right answer would be option D, that is 4. So he did not give modernization of agriculture. So here from here the take is that the Adam Smith, we have to remember, give what? The extent of market. Adam Smith gave extent of market. Adam Smith gave extent of market. We know this. And then what did happen? Then JB gave balance in supply and demand. Balance in supply and demand, and JB gave balance in supply and demand, and Malthus gave the state of overproduction. This Malthus gave the state of overproduction, and finally 4 is D. Ricardo gave modernization of agriculture. So we know option 4 is not the right answer. So for question number 40 the right answer is option 4. Now we'll straight go to the next question, which is question number 41. So in question number 41 it is given, which of the following statement are true for triangle model? So it is given, it is a model developed by new Keynesian economist, and it includes built-in inflation in the analysis. So we have to find out which one is the right answer. So first of all we need to understand what is this model is all about. So new Keynesian, so it is basically new Keynesian economic theory present 3 types of inflation as part of Robert J. Gordon calls triangle model. So 3 types of inflation neoclassical economics present 3, which we call, which is known as triangle model. So 3 types of inflation. So 3 types of inflation which is known as triangle model. So neoclassical basically talked about 3 types of inflation which is known as triangle model. So now what we have to do is, first of all we know that is the demand pull inflation. It is the inflation due to high demand for goods and services, low unemployment, also known as Phillips curve inflation. So first one is demand pull inflation. So in 3 triangle the first one is demand pull inflation. So demand pull inflation. So now what is demand pull inflation? Say this is the demand curve, and now there is increasing demand. So demand curve shifts rightward. So because of this reason the price level shifts from P0 to P1. So there is a kind of increase in price, that is inflation due to demand pull inflation. This is known as demand flow inflation. Now we'll come to the other things, that is the second one. Out of 3 types of inflation, the first one is demand pull, the second one is demand cost push inflation. So what is cost push inflation? Cost push inflation, currently termed as supply shock inflation, due to an event such as sudden increase in price of oil from the global market price. Producers for from whom oil is a part of their cost are very likely to increase the prices of their output. Cost push can also come from a labor demand for increased wages and salaries. We know that is if this is the demand and supply curve. Now, due to supply shock, what happens? Supply curve shifts to the rightward. So again, due to this, there is increase in price level from P0 to P1. So this kind of inflation is known as cost plus inflation. And finally, there is another kind of inflation which is known as built-in inflation. This is known as built-in inflation. So what is built-in inflation? Built-in inflation is basically this is included by adaptive expectation, often linked to price wage spiral, because it involved workers trying to keep their wages up with price and then employers passing higher cost onto consumer as higher price as part of vicious cycle. So built-in inflation reflects event in the past, so might be seen as hangover inflation. It is also known as inertial inflation or inflationary momentum or structural inflation. So we know built-in inflation reflects events in past, so might be seen as hangover inflation. So we know built-in inflation is what? Built-in inflation is what? Built-in inflation is basically reflect the events in the past. So built-in inflation reflects the event in the past. Now these three types of inflation are basically added up at any point of time to get an inflation explanation of the current inflation rate. So by this we know, however, over time the first two, that is actual inflation rates, affect the amount of built-in inflation. So neoclassical use the Phillips curve to explain the relationship between inflation and employment. This means some amount of inflation is needed to increase the employment and reduce unemployment. So for this reason we know for question number 41 it is given, it is a model developed by neo-Keynesian economist. So we know for question number 41 that it is basically developed by neo-Keynesian economist, and also we know that is it includes built-in inflation in the analysis. So it also includes the built-in inflation into analysis. So for this reason we know it is for question number 41 the right answer would be option 1. Now we'll go to the next question, which is question number 42. So in question number 42 is given, which of the reference to Asian Development Bank consider the following statements? United States has the largest proportion of shares in the voting system. China and India have the same percentage of shares for voting system. So out of which we know for question number 42 the right answer is option D, that is neither 1 or 2. That is United States has the largest proportion of shares in voting system. This is wrong. And China and India have the same percentage of share for voting system. This is also wrong. So for this we know for question number 42 the right answer is question 4. So if you have any query or doubt, you can simply WhatsApp me on this number, which is 9836793076, or you can also go to our website, which is www.showupsirsclasses.com. There you will find a lot of other videos like this, and you will also get to see a lot of other materials which are needed for different entrance exams. So thank you for watching this video. Have a nice day ahead.